Ma voi domani ci siete alla presentazione? Domani lo facciamo qua.
Ci siamo, però domani non si può filmare.
Sorry. Very
Okay.
shortly in English then. So the Parco Naturale Adamello Brenta is the largest protected area of Trentino. Trentino is a region in the northeast part of Italy. So we started with strategies of sustainable mobility in 2003, and we were realizing that one of the paradoxic methods was bringing city problems into the protected areas. So when you go on vacation and you go into a protected area, what you are looking for is a direct contact with the nature. And what you don't want to find is the problems that you left home in the cities, which are traffic jams. And our valleys up in the Alpines are very long and narrow. And so when it's the touristic season, we have big problems of traffic. So we started in 2003 with a project which consisted in closing a valley, and the only way to access the valley is by bus. So the park had the idea to do this. Obviously, to take care out the project, we needed to plan a strategy also with the municipalities, which are the owners of the territory where we are doing sustainable mobility, also with the tourism office. And so what we did was a preliminary study. First of all, we had to see how many cars, how many pedestrians, how many bikes, how many motorcycles would pass on the street in a day in which each month of the touristic season. And then we had to make a timetable of the buses, find out how many we would need, at what time in the morning they would have to start, at what time in the evening they would have to finish. But we also thought that sustainable mobility is not only closing a street and obligating people to go in by a bus, it's also giving information and letting you, let's say, live an experience. So along with the buses, we also put info points, sign paths, activities with the operators of the park, which will bring you through the park, giving you information on the fauna, on the flora, on the geological, morphological characteristics of our park. So as I was saying, we started in 2003, and we carried it out in the first valley, which was the most important from a touristic point of view. Now we have this in 4 valleys of our park, and they have different types of access. One of the questions is also how these projects are financed. At the moment, we have the municipalities and the tourist office that give a public contribution to let us take out this service. And this also allows us to do it with a low price. So we do it for several reasons. One, and mostly from the part of the park, is obviously to avoid negative impacts on the natural patrimony. So how can we do this is obviously containing the price, so the people will want to live the experience, but we also need a hand from the municipalities and the tourist office. So what we say is, who wants to put out a project of sustainable mobility, first of all, must work in a network. Not think that the park can take care of it by itself, but you need to do this talking with all the people that are involved in this kind of a project. Also, if in the valley you have hotels, you have restaurants, you have bars, you have to talk to these people to make them understand that you are making a project that with a long time it will bring them benefits, even if in the first time it might have less people visiting the area because you cannot go directly in with the car. We also think that the new strategy is also a new way of thinking. The tourists, but also residents, should realize that they are entering in a valley that is unique, that is sensitive, and for this reason you have to enter very gentle and avoid taking your car and going with sustainable mobility. As I was saying, the project we started out in 2003, we arrived this year up to 56,000 people transported with sustainable mobility in 3 months, June, July, and August, or from the 15th of June to the 15th of September. We started out obviously with only 2,000, 3,000 people, and so we decided, as I was saying, to carry out this project in other valleys. Each have their own characteristics. We have another valley which instead you're allowed to go in only by a wheeled train. The street is very narrow, and there the service is offered free. because the municipality pays the cost of sustainable mobility. So all the tourists, if they want to go and visit this valley, they must go by wheeled train. As I was saying, it is free, and it brings you into one of the most beautiful places of Madonna di Campiglio. It's also called the Balcony of the Dolomites because it's just in front of the World Heritage. And when you went, before we started this project, you would arrive in front of the Dolomites with a big parking lot. Now you see instead, we have some pictures. It's completely changed. You can really enjoy the nature. So what I was saying, this is two of our projects. Our third is third and fourth, other two valleys similar. And last project we just engaged this year in 2017 is a circular trip around the town of Madonna di Campiglio, which, working in a network and a strategy, we involved wheeled train, bus, and the cableway, and it allows people to visit Madonna di Campiglio, parking in a big parking lot at the beginning of the town. And you take first the cableway, then you walk inside the park, the natural area, then you take the wheeled train, and finally the bus, and then once again the cableway, and you do a circle tour. It's called Panorama Tour, that allows you to visit the most beautiful places of Madonna di Campiglio, all without touching your car and keeping the cars out of the town. So these are the strategies that we are carrying out, and every year we try to do our best. And as I was saying, we are every year seeing that it's more and more people that prefer taking the bus and the train rather than using their own car. And so it certainly is the right way of thinking. We've noticed this year is the year of sustainable tourism, all of you certainly know. And statistics also say that sustainable tourism is growing much quicker than the traditional tourism. So all those towns that are investing in sustainable tourism are certainly doing it with the fact that when sustainable tourism started, it started as maybe lower tourism. Instead, it's starting to grow much higher, also in the high quality tourism. And for this reason, Madonna di Campiglio, which is also one of the most important touristic areas of Trentino, is investing on these kind of projects. This is what I can say about our experience.
Perfect.
Thank you. So I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.